Good morning. I know I have to make videos. In the last 2 months, I have not been doing an ideal. And the reasons that I do my videos is for my self-therapy. And I know that not everything I say resonates to very many people at all. But when you have phobias and you face them, then it always helps. And so YouTube is my therapy. I know. You say, you can go to a counselor. Sure, I can go to a counselor, but I have a problem with authority. I'm 73 years old, and I'm still rebellious. So, I know, you're right. I need to kick that in the bud, too. But, you know, when I first started my videos, I was talking about my childhood traumas and my childhood joys and things like that. And I'm sure there's many things that I have missed. But when I got into the stories of my teenage years, I found it very difficult to talk about. My life basically turned around for no good at the age of 12. At the age of 14, I was surviving. And when you survive, you get into things you're not supposed to do. You get married too many times because marriage represents family. And when you're abandoned, you need family. When I was thinking about making this video, I wasn't thinking about talking about marriage, but I'm going on without a script. So, you know, when I see people who down people for being married too many times, I tend to defend them because we don't walk in their shoes. You know, we have our own moccasins to walk in. And however we choose to survive in this world, and we're good, we're honest, we have integrity, you know, and our intentions are right, even though they don't really turn out that way because we are a child. And when we are a child, we can't really make decisions about our life. But I was put into a situation where I had to make decisions about my life. And I had no counsel. My mother had gone off and did whatever she does. And being I'm the third born, I really didn't have anybody to look up to because Anita was my abuser at the age of 14. Linda was busy being abused. And those were my two older sisters. Those were my two counsels. Because I couldn't counsel with my mother. Maybe someday I'll figure out why she doesn't like me. But it's neither here nor there that she liked me. I think she did the best job that she knew how. Because we were born into a poor family, an uneducated family. I don't know if that really makes any difference or not, because some of these educated people are not too smart. But I'm finding that I'm having a lot of sleepless nights because I worry about a 14-year-old. I know that when I was busy struggling and trying to survive, I became very angry. And I still may be angry. That may be one of my problems. I never gave it much thought for so many years. But I used to get angry because I was abandoned. I was alone. And I didn't know which way to turn. Where do I go? What do I do? But they always had boy clubs, you know. There was always help for boys, but I couldn't find any help for girls. The only thing, the attitude that I got was, you're a girl. You have no value. Just go off and screw your way to success. That's all the value that you have. I wanted to use the other word, but nah. Because the other word about going off and, providing for yourself is a very strong word. And I had very strong feelings. Now I worry about a 14-year-old. And it gives me a lot of sleepless nights. Now, I know his grandfather and his grandmother are doing the best they can, except they have a narcissist in their house. And they are allowing this narcissist to abuse them. They're allowing the narcissist to abuse the children, and they are allowing her to abuse the animals and anybody else she can abuse, because that's the way narcissists work. Is that, and I also know that the boy's mother is working very, very hard to get her life together so she can redo the foundation of the family. No, she is not a drug addict, and no, she is not a drunk. She got abused. She got beaten very badly. She used to drink, but after she lost her memory from the beating and all of this stuff, she's not where she needs to be. So whatever happened to her wasn't by addiction. Maybe because she drank for many years, and maybe the drinking did play a part, but I don't want to put emphasis on that. I want to put the emphasis on where she was severely beaten by a narcissist. Not the same one I'm talking about earlier, but a different one. And we even get to the point in our lives where we know nothing but abuse, and we don't know how to function without abuse. Now, the grandfather, if he could get out of bed and walk around and rule his house the way a man rules his house, I am sure there would be a lot of ending to the abusive behavior that's going on. Now, as for the grandmother, and this is my opinion and my opinion alone, that She has a great love for all her children and for grandchildren. And the narcissist in her house gives her crumbs and gives her love bombing and gives her support every now and then that she needs. And so every time she's abused or hollered at or screamed at, it takes down her self-confidence and her self-respect. But yet, she allows this person to be there because of her love for this person. And she needs and she wants the love that's offered. But this is not a good environment for a 14-year-old. But the grandmother, she is a strong woman. So I think that for the sake of the young children, she will start protecting them better. But as for the mother, she doesn't have the confidence to come in and do what needs to be done. But I believe she will. This is my faith. And I don't know, I'm kind of rambling. But the point is that our children are going astray in general because of our education system and what's going on in our world as we try to turn into a communist country. I'm not for communists, I am for freedom. But that's neither here nor there. I'm just a little peon, and I have to worry about survival. But anyway, now that I've talked about this, I want to let go of it and just move on with my life, because there's nothing that I can do. All I know is that to get the children stable, to get the mother stable, and I think the mother is a bit narcissist too, because she thinks she has to rule with a heavy hand. Ruling with a heavy hand is not how you rule your children. You lead by example. You lead by talking and understanding. Communication is a very important part of raising a child. You know, we don't understand at the age of 14 exactly how things really run, how things that are done. But when we are abused, we want to either respond to the abuse or we want to run from the abuse. And like when you're a teenager, you don't have that fight or flight response that's not available to you, because if you fight, you're in bigger trouble. If you flight, you're in bigger trouble. So you have to find ways to cope with this flight or fight response, and hopefully it doesn't cause too much trauma, because this young boy, he has paths he can take, and what you want for him is the best. Now, I have faith in the grandmother that can keep him on path, but she needs to protect him from the abuser, because that is too devastating to his mind, and he'll grow up and he'll be a damaged adult, and he may or may not continue the methods of abuse. He seems to me to be a very strong-willed young man, and I just need to leave it in God's hands. And that's my rant for today. This is what's on my mind. And remember, if you need essential oils, this is how I make my living, is selling essential oils, because I'll sure not make a living on YouTube. But I want to thank you for listening, and I would like to ask you to share, like, and subscribe, and hopefully I'll get better at talking about my life and finding it more interesting. If you have any solutions to ease my mind, please put them in the comments, because I feel very helpless in the situation, and honestly, I should be helpless in the situation. And but you know, when you love people, you love with all your heart. I love you. Bye.